Ladies and gentlemen, in today's article I will talk about my own contemplation. A contemplation that I myself find frustrating and uncomfortable. Sometimes thinking about it makes me a bit sad, but I'm sad about my own story, guys. But this place is not it. I didn't see it before. Meaning I didn't detect this problem for a long time. I admit I'm bad. Until later, you guys will start to get the hang of it. Many years ago when I heard other people's stories, I started to look back at my life and I saw that there was one thing that I had wasted a lot of throughout my life. Calling it a waste is not quite right. Because it's true that there will be times when we waste, but there will also be times when we can't use up that precious thing. It's like my life could have been so much better if I had used up that space, but I didn't. I let it go by. Sometimes I only use 20%, sometimes I use 50%, and sometimes I even leave it alone and don't use it. I'm so sorry, guys. And I conclude that in this life there is something that not only me but many people have overlooked, wasted, and not used its power as we should. Usually in this life, what do people say is a waste? It is understandable that people say it is a waste of money. People say wasting youth. I think it's quite abstract but easy to understand. However, there is a type of waste that I see no one mentions, or maybe people still mention it but only in a small local area. As for mainstream, something that is widespread to most people, I don't think there is much. Even personally, I have not seen anyone mention exactly how wasteful this is. But for myself, I find it very precious. It's a waste of pain. Do you find it strange? Most of us have never heard of wasting pain. Or at least taken seriously, it becomes an important topic for us to pay attention to. Then I think most of us haven't heard. And to be honest, for many people, just hearing the pain makes them want to run away. I think no one in this life wants to be involved in pain. Don't say anything but use it. But in reality, in this life, you pay attention and see that to say that a life of 80 years or 90 years in terms of longevity, for example, everyone's life must have this and that. Everyone's life will have sad thoughts, sadness, ups and downs. No one can avoid you. No matter how prepared you are, there will always be some sadness that falls from the sky. It's like we love. The lucky ones will fall in love just once and then find happiness. Well, this is also true, but if you pay attention, you will see that most of the time it is wrong. So are other things in life. And the important thing is that often when we come across those things, we just let them go, we waste them, we don't learn from them. But my God, it's stories like that that are a great lesson, a treasure. Even more broadly speaking and not at all exaggerating. It's like a treasure trove. Do you think there is anything in this world that connects us as strongly as pain? In terms of lessons, in terms of perception, pain is very powerful and it teaches us a lot. It's a lesson that we have our memories in, right? There are my experiences in it and also my tears, even my sweat and blood in it. It would make us live so much differently if we really contemplated what we have experienced in relation to that pain. You go to a training course for 6 months, you may not be able to connect with it as strongly as if you sat down and analyzed your pain. And it's a pity that such a great lesson in growing up, such a great ingredient for growing up, is overlooked by most of us. Mr. Viktor Frankl in the very famous book Man's Search for Meaning in Life, the Vietnamese title is Man's Search for Meaning in Life. There is also a saying, a concept that I really like. Therein lies a source for us to seek the meaning of our lives. Among other sources, it is the source that comes from pain. What does your current tolerance mean? What does it mean? If you understand that, you begin to live with a purpose. For example, here I speak everyday language, modern language so you can understand easily. Because that book is about another period. Maybe for many young children now, around 20 years old, maybe they can listen and they can't connect with history, so please sympathize with me and let me talk about things that are more familiar. I say for example, if you exercise, if you practice dream, the pain is muscle pain, the most painful thing is clearly what you have to endure, right? But you see, those who practice for a long time can endure it all. They can stand all of you. Why? They understand the meaning of this pain. Why do I have to put up with this? Well, to serve a purpose, an ideal that is bigger, that is further, that is to be healthy and beautiful. Then people can bear it. Okay, I can take this pain. Not all pain is bad. From Viktor Frankl's perspective, pain has a certain meaning. Here I will not repeat that method, but I would like to take advantage of it a little. That's me expanding on a slightly different take on pain. That is, even the pains in your past, the things you have experienced, you can still see them as raw materials to develop your life. The pain we experience in the past or in the present is different from the pain of Viktor Frankl that I just mentioned. However, it still has a positive point that you can absolutely use it as an ingredient to water and provide nutrients for your life. Back to the story of broken love, for example. Most people when they have a broken heart cry, feel sad, resentful, angry, for example. There are even worse people who just got out of one relationship and rushed into another relationship, which people often call a rebound relationship. You guys call it like that, it sounds a bit confusing, but to put it bluntly, he just broke up with this person and he was bored. He was so empty that he jumped to know someone else to fill the gap. In most cases, the rebound relationship is worse than the previous one. Because it is not based on love or sustainability, but only on brevity. Well, for me, I rate this case very badly. People don't even have a day to look back and learn from their failures, their heartaches, their brokenness, but they rush to something new. I find this regrettable. It is very healthy to analyze your current pain. Try to tear it apart, try to fish it out, try to analyze it to understand what mistake is there in this breakup. Can I analyze what is wrong on both sides? Well, then I take out a piece of paper, I sit down, I list the first thing, the second thing, the third thing, the fourth thing, I find my behavioral patterns, about the bullying, about the indifference, about the carelessness, about the misunderstanding of ABC, I sit down, I filter it again, you guys, filter it again, this behavior, this pattern, this way of behaving, it repeats, and at some point you will see that our grandma is right. Now I have the chance to sit down, think back, analyze again, and I see that yes, there are many problems that I didn't realize before. So this very painful pain is linked to your emotions, it is linked to your tears. If you sit down and analyze it, the next relationships in your life will be much better. And you go through something called true adulthood. You are wise, to put it bluntly. Now you meet the next person who has those characteristics, has those personality patterns, you would never dare to have power over. You never dare to be right. Well, we believe that everyone can grow and everyone can change. A person with the personality traits we encountered a lot in our old relationships after we analyzed. I agree that this new person can definitely change, but we still have a switch. What's the other thing to look out for? Let's see if this person is open-minded and willing to learn and change. If so, okay, I can consider this person as the next target. After a while I got better, I was fine, I could get to know them again. But if they are very stubborn but they have all the ingredients that cause pain and brokenness that you have painstakingly analyzed from your previous relationship, then why jump in and do anything? It won't change anything. Obviously, by analyzing like this, we save ourselves unnecessary pain in future relationships. Our development is actually quite simple if we say so. Don't repeat the same mistakes, don't make the same mistakes, people can improve, can develop a lot. It's about how you perceive people. As for myself, I clearly have mistakes too. If I analyze the mistakes in that relationship, now I have to practice and improve. I have this mistake that keeps repeating itself, so I try to improve it. For example, my face is often gloomy, my mind is not like that, but my face is gloomy and I have been complained about a lot, but I do not change, so it accumulates until one day I close myself up as a negative person. Then I analyze the situation and see, okay, practice smiling, it's time to practice smiling. I don't want this to be a big problem in my life anymore. So I want to become an optimistic person, an energetic person, a person who brings positive things in the eyes of others. I don't want to play the role of a negative person anymore. Then sign up for a laughter yoga class or set up a mirror and practice laughing. For example. So I think this is great in everyone's life. How can you have motivation? How can you make changes? How can you live differently in a powerful way if you don't analyze your own tearful past situations? Even in business, people dissect study trees and failure cases to learn from them. And one would avoid a lot of things. It's like you're walking down a road right now, and you see a pothole. If you run across a pothole and fall the first time, this is normal. First time but confused. But if I go to the second time and fall again, I can only blame myself. He failed to use his first fall as a data point for growth. He didn't know he was wasting it, so he fell a second time. And I tell you guys, who knows which time is the worst, right? Maybe the first time he fell he was lucky, so he was safe. The second time I missed it, did it collapse? I don't know, you guys. So in life, we must always look back at our failures and pains and always analyze them, consider them as an object of study, spend time, life, and mind every day to analyze them. Because the raw materials for growth are there and nowhere else. And from this perspective, I think a lot can be healed. Because when some sadness falls into our lives, we have the right to see it as a punishment or as a potential reward. Guys, I'm not so optimistic, I'm not so funny that I take something sad and consider it a gift. Because I think a lot of people will feel extremely hurt when I say this. So I had to add two other words, potential gift. Because you know clearly, and in this article I have also explained, you know very clearly if you learn something from those things you can grow. So the question now is whether you are willing to learn or not whether the gift is worthless. That's why I say it's a potential gift. All our failures are not in vain. It's just a sign, a suggestion that you should live differently, she should live differently to become more mature. That is the extremely important message that every sadness has, every pain has. Now, for example, there are many people who go to interviews and then fail, and they come back very sad. But actually I tell you, sadness is a normal emotion. I even encourage you to be sad. There is no reason why I should not be sad when something sad happens to me. Right? I have to be sad so that my sadness can be released, so that my emotions can live truly. But honestly, I'm even sadder when I see someone sad. Just to be sad, then I feel you careful. Because you are sad. Then time passes and you wake up and you don't learn anything from it. Be careful there. The chances of you experiencing the same kind of sadness again are very high because you have not learned the lesson of life. The above drop-down question, if it must be called that, it has not been solved. If we have to call it destiny or life or the universe or something like that, if we call it spiritually. You are clearly getting a life assignment that you are getting. Okay, you got it, you solve it. Once you solve it, your life will be easier, your life will be different, you will mature. If you can't solve it, it's okay. Then everything will be calm again, then everything will go from sad to happy again like a normal life. But be careful. Because when I encounter it again, I might not be able to handle it. Because I never solved it. I just ignored it. But there is a sad news of life. We may not grow older, but we will definitely grow older. Well, I don't know if we'll have the same energy in 5 years as we do now. Don't equate the two, we will grow old. For sure 100%, but not sure we mature over time. And for me, the sign of maturity has always been to solve the problem wrapped in sadness, to be able to rest in the pain of what it brings to our lives. We have to solve it, find the solution, and then everything will be more fun, life will be much more fulfilling. There are people I see who hate each other so much that at first they think the fact that they hate each other is just okay, guys. Just give and take. Then it increases the intensity. It involves actively provoking each other, actively attacking each other, verbally insulting each other, and then gradually building to a climax. Even in the office, in a room of only a few dozen people, there are people who hate each other so much that they hate each other bitterly. I think that even I myself witnessed those things, so I just feel sorry, not able to advise. Because if I were in that situation, I would try to analyze it at a certain stage where my hatred for others is moderate. I have seen this as a pain. Because it really affects my life. And I have no choice, I have to analyze it. Is there anything wrong with this situation? Is there something wrong with them? Sit down. Is there anything I can fix? Is there anything I can do to help, or if I feel like it's no good, can I leave this group? There are many ways, but basically you will need to analyze, research, and ponder it. And I'm telling you, it's not that easy. Not easy. I do it like I do a thesis in college, guys. I thought about it forever, worried about it. That is not easy. So why are there so many people who would rather avoid suffering than accept suffering and learn from it? It needs work, it needs contemplation, it needs rest. But I tell you, don't worry, this life will not disappoint those who try hard. I have been saying this for decades. As long as you have an idea for something and keep thinking about it, delving into it every day, it will naturally take a few weeks to a few months for it to produce results. That's my experience. Even with very difficult problems, it takes about a year to figure them out. That is a very difficult problem. As for common problems, conflicts, sadness, love affairs, failure at work, failing an interview, or having some physical injury ABC, if you really think about it, I think in a few weeks you will understand a lot. We have a much faster growth rate than you might think. And there are things in this life that you have to experience to know, because no matter how much you describe it now, it's hard for others to understand. Now I tell you, you just need to brainstorm about a problem, a pain of yours for a few weeks, and then when you wake up, you will feel that feeling. I have experienced it, I am capable, I understand. But now I say it in words, how can others feel it? So finally, at the end of this article, I consider it a call to practice, guys. I urge everyone to practice thinking about their life, thinking about it every day, every month, every special week. Focus on topics related to your real pains and failures and find out the causes of those things, think about them, learn, change, and develop from them, then your life will only go up. And the boat of your life is yours, you are at the helm. But my life is not like a duckweed or water hyacinth, wherever it is pushed or shoved, it will flow along. Okay, that's all I want to present and share with all of you in this meal. Thank you very much, and please steer your own ship of life. I have that right.